Hi everyone, Wes Brown here, Canada's basketball scout. Welcome to this special edition of the Monday Morning Scouting Report. It's a critical time of the year for high school seniors to find a landing spot next season in university. Meanwhile, college and university coaches are finalizing their rosters as we speak. So I'm here to help you get noticed, to figure out how we can get those college coaches to see your mixtape, to see your highlights, and find you a landing spot for next season. As you probably know, I run a scouting service here in Canada, and am in the same situation as college coaches, trying to figure out how to find players on Instagram, how to get their highlight tape, what their name and graduating year are, and how good they are. So here are my tips on how to get yourself recruited for next season. Now, the first thing I would recommend you do is make sure you're easily accessible online. The first thing I do when I hear a prospect's name or when I see a player live is search their name on Instagram and Twitter. So it goes without saying that you should probably have your full name as your Instagram, Twitter, and all social media accounts. In addition, make sure you have your height, your graduating year, your school, and maybe even a contact, whether it's a number or an email, so that coaches can reach you. A lot of the times I find difficulty finding players on social media because they have a swaggy name, whatever that may be. It gets kind of frustrating when you're looking for players and they have a name like Swaggy WB or whatever it is. It makes it much more difficult on us, and what you're trying to do is get recruited. So make it as simple as possible for us scouts and coaches to find you. Again, include your name, whether that's on your primary account or you create a separate professional basketball account, that's totally fine. But keep your name, your height, your position, what age you're graduating at, your school, and preferably a contact number or even an email so that we can reach out to you if we like what we see. Second, make sure your mixtape is tailored to your game. Full game tape is always where the story ends, but it starts with a mixtape. And look, I've seen a lot of mixtapes and actually reviewed a few on a podcast last week. But the most important thing with a mixtape is starting it off with a bang. If we're not interested in the first 10 seconds, we're gonna skip through or ignore it completely. So the first thing is show us your NBA skill or your special type of athleticism. Now, if you're a freak athlete, that's the first thing we wanna see, because that will get recruited at any level. If you've got crazy between the legs dunks, or you make unbelievable plays at the rim defensively, whatever that is, we're looking for the best athletes available. But that's a very small percentage of players. So what's next? Show us your skill set and NBA skill. But if you have star potential, then show me your star skill set. Whether that's elite ball skills, elite shot making ability, whatever it is, show us that first. And if not, if you're a role player, or if you have a specific NBA skill, and what I mean by that is what's gonna get you recruited. Look at that NBA skill, whether it's shooting, whether it's rim protection, whether it's 3-and-D. Show me that skill first so that I know what type of player I'm recruiting, and then build out from there. If you're a recruit and you want us to notice you, we have to know that we can play you and why. And if you show us great ball skills at the beginning, that's cool. But for the most part, we want to know why you're going to get on the court with us. And the reason you're going to get on the court with whatever team you play for the next level is most likely not going to be for you to score 30 points. It's more than likely going to be you making shots, you understanding your role, you playing hard on defense, you giving up your body, and you making winning plays. Because that translates wherever, whenever, and that will earn you more opportunity on the court. There's so many tapes I watch that might show a three-pointer, then they may show a pull-up jumper, then they show a finish at the rim, then they show a play make off the bounce. And look, it's great to see that you're capable of doing all those things, but what is your game? What defines the way you play? Is it all of those things? Or is there one area that you're really at your best and the other things you're capable of doing also? And there's so many mixes I've seen where it's just a mishmash of clips all over the place, but I don't really know what type of player I'm recruiting. So So coaches need to know what type of player they're getting. The last thing, as important as anything, is be creative and be persistent. One thing I've learned firsthand in this industry and probably in any is find a way to stand out and be persistent. Those are two really important ways to get yourself noticed. What do I mean by standing out? Email coaches every week. Be creative about what you say in the tagline. Put your stuff out on social media. Don't bombard them, but make sure that they're getting consistent looks at you. That's the only way to get things done when you're not in their prime view. If you're trying to highlight yourself to coaches outside of your region, you need to give them a reason to come see you. So make sure that somehow, whether it's creative typing, creative subtitles, creative posts on social media, make sure that you're finding a way to stand out. And be persistent. Nothing happens easily, especially if you're trying to get recruited. For me, myself, I had to build relationships with college and NBA scouts and coaches just by being persistent, sending out weekly reports, trying to find a way that they would see it. And it didn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight for you to get recruited and to blow up. But it happens one step at a time. So take your time, think about it, figure out a way for you to stand out. If your basketball is good enough, then that's going to get the job done, but you have to get them to see your mixtape and see your videos before you get there. And you might think you're more than good enough, and you might be right, but we have to get to the stage where the coaches are actually looking at what you have to say and your game. And to get there, be creative and be persistent. So again, to go over the ways that you can get recruited successfully, on all social media accounts, put your name, put your information, put a way that they can contact you so that we know who we're recruiting. Second, on your mixtape, make sure you have all the information there. Make sure you show us right at the start either your special athleticism that's going to get you recruited anywhere, or your skill set and NBA skill. And be consistent with what it is that you're showing us. Show us what you bring on a day-to-day basis to a team, not the one-off three that you made last week. And third of all, be consistent, be creative, find a way to stand out, and find a way to persist until you get what you're looking for. And at some point, if you're persistent, you'll find a way to have that conversation with a coach. And even if you get let down and they don't want to recruit you, you'll find a way to get seen. And that way, if you get seen, you'll probably get recruited to the right level where you can succeed in college. Trust me, if you follow these tips, coaches and scouts are much more likely to see your tapes and be impressed by it if you're showing us the things that we're looking for. I'm Wes Brown. Thanks for watching this special edition of the Monday Morning Scouting Report.